Hey you guys, it's Tiffyhustle. How are y'all doing? I hope everyone is staying home and staying safe and is in good health. That's like an invaluable blessing these days, good health. Um, I just wanted to go ahead and jump right into this second video. This will be like part two. I guess is going to end up kind of being a series on so you want to be an appraiser, how to become a real estate appraiser. So I'm just going to jump right in. So today what I'm going to do is we're going to go over the two different routes you can go, which is a staff appraiser or a fee appraiser. So we'll go over that, and I will kind of jump in with just kind of telling you basically how I went through the process as far as getting into this career path. So first things first, I want to thank everybody for providing all the feedback. I really appreciated you guys. Like, I am honestly only doing this because I feel like there's untapped talent and potential out there that we just haven't discovered because nobody knows about the about the field, and nobody really knows how to get in. And then when you do get in, it seems like it's kind of hush hush. So thank you guys for the feedback, because it lets me know that, you know, there are people out there who are interested, and I'm just here to help. I'm solely only doing these videos to help someone, you know, discover a career path that maybe they wouldn't have thought of otherwise. So first things first, immediately after, or even now, while you're watching this video, I want you to go to your state's appraisal licensing and certificate board. So like for Texas, it's the Texas Appraisal Licensing and Certifications Board. And so you can just Google that. So whatever your state is, California, Appraisal Licensing and Certifications Board, Google that. Pull up the site. It should probably be a .gov site, I think, or a .org or .gov. And there should be a pretty much like a checklist showing you how starting off. In most states, you have to be a trainee first. So it's going to say like how to become an appraiser trainee, like what classes and what certifications you need, and then what exams you need to take. It'll have that breakdown. This is a starting place for everybody. I don't care which route of appraisal you decide to go into. This is the starting place. So you want to go ahead and know what it is that you need to complete. Just you'll have that in your head no matter what. Another thing is this heavy appraisal book. It's the Appraisal of Real Estate. This book is, you're going to use this book. This is written by the Appraisal Institute, which is also, so the Appraisal Institute, they actually have courses. They have online courses that you can take for appraisal. Now, I've taken some of the Appraisal Institute courses. I don't like their format, but I've taken some of their courses and I passed them, so they do work. And they have the good thing about the Appraisal Institute is that you know that any class that you take from the Appraisal Institute is going to be satisfactory in your state. Okay, this is the Appraisal Institute. They play a huge role in making the appraisal guidelines for the United States. So any course that you take with them, it's going to be like certified credit for your towards your license, no matter what state you're in. So that's a good thing about the Appraisal Institute. Kind of on the expensive side, but again, you know that they work. And then here's the thing, you know, when you go to take the exams, they wrote the book. So you know what I mean? So they have all the information, and their instructors are well informed as far as like what is going to be on the exam and what's on the test. So that's great. But you need this book. You need to start reading this book now. I don't care if you're just thinking about being an appraiser, if you are already a trainee, you probably already have this book. You're probably already reading it. I think this is the 14th edition. I'm not sure if this is the last one, but when I was studying, which was like 5 years ago, this was the book that I used. And I'll tell you, when I, in my previous video, I mentioned that I learned about appraisal in college from taking a real estate finance course on appraisal. And we used this book. So this was in like 2009 or 8 or something like that. And we were using this book. So this book never goes away. It never goes away. So it's important to get this book. I think they have like the 12th edition available for like cheaper. I looked on Amazon before I made this video. And I think they had this one online for like $75 used on Amazon. Just kind of search and see some of the sellers on there. The pricing will probably be different if you get a used book. Used books are fine. Hey, it's going to have the same information in it. So, you know, they update it ever so often. But this is the basis for everything that you need to know. So just make sure you get that. I'll put that down in the comments to make sure you guys have the name and everything correct. So as I said before, I'm kind of try to explain to you guys the process that I went through, and please understand that I'm only explaining this for several reasons, because I kind of want you guys to know that it's not something that's quick and easy. It's not going to be like a quick and easy. There's no one way to do it. But I kind of want you to understand, and want anyone who is out there and who is wanting to be an appraiser to understand that, hey, if you get into a situation where things kind of seem like it's going slowly, it's not just you, it happens to everybody. But just keep that goal in your mind, that this is what you wanted to do. So I graduated in 2011, wanted to be an appraiser. Since then, I knew I wanted to be an appraiser. I talked to my professor. He was actually a licensed appraiser in Texas and in Louisiana. And, you know, I was like, you know, I really enjoyed your class. I would love to do this for a living. And he just kind of like laughed it off, like, you know, good luck at finding someone to teach you. And that sucks. So again, another reason why I'm making these videos, because I know what it's like. A lot of people don't. I would say the hardest thing is probably finding a supervisor to train you, because the time and the patience that it takes to do that, it can be difficult sometimes. So a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want that responsibility, because they are signing off on your work. So, okay, so 2011, I knew I wanted to do that. You graduate, you got to some way find ways to make ends meet. So I just went on to, you know, dabble in different career paths and do a bunch of different things, as well as I was in the military part-time. I was in the National Guard. So I was just working, and it wasn't until 2013 I got my first kind of corporate job, like a corporate salary position, and like the day I got the job, like I knew I was gonna hate it. So I went to training. They flew me away to training, and while I was at training, this is now fast forward 2013. I started writing down my goals, what I wanted to do, because I knew I didn't want to be with that company. So let me write down the things that I actually want to do. And the first thing on my list was to be a real estate appraiser. Okay, so I wrote that down. So I just want to stress to you guys the importance of manifesting things. You know, if you don't believe in manifesting, if you want to just call it being headstrong about your goals, and, you know, setting goals with the intent to accomplish them, that's very important. So wrote that down in 2013. Worked this sucky job for another 2 years. Did not end up with the opportunity to become a real estate appraiser trainee until 2015. Okay, so so that's from 2011, knowing that this is what I want to do, and I didn't even get the opportunity until 2015. With that being said, you guys, do not give up on anything it is that you want to do. continue to press forward, and with that goal in mind that, hey, this is what I want to do, and never let up on that. It may not take, a few months. It may take some years. Some people are lucky and, it just takes months for them. But, just, it's going to happen. Just like I said, if it's something that you really want and you really want to do, keep that dream in your head, write it down on paper, and just work forward knowing that eventually this is something that you're going to accomplish, and life will just lead you in that path to do it. Because I'll be honest with you, there's no secret, or I wish I had like a magic formula, you guys, to how I end up getting this job or even coming across this job. I found my job on Indeed. Indeed, you guys, Indeed.com. Yes, Indeed. I had the app. Like I said, I did not like the job, the company that I worked for, or that position that I was in at the time. I knew I wanted to be a real estate appraiser. I had filled out a profile on Indeed, had my resume on there, and I did I saved my searches, and like filtered and saved my searches, and I put in real estate appraiser, and put in the zip code. And so every time something came up with real estate or appraiser or whatever, it would always send me the email. And one day I just so happened to be scrolling and through my emails, and I saw the email, hey, real estate appraiser trainee position. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, like I have to apply for this position. Then on top of that, it worked out so well for me because they were looking for people with prior service experience. So that's why I always stress to all of my prior service friends, all of my veterans friends, all of my friends who are even still currently in the military, maybe just in the military part-time, or looking to transition out of the military. Make sure that you understand that the skills that you have, that you've learned from the service, are very valuable. I don't care if you were just a freaking cook, okay? When you can translate those skills into the civilian career field, and it can actually, you can actually if you translate them correctly, you'll be able to qualify for plenty of positions. Okay. So I say that to say, know that, and just take advantage of that, because you've worked your butt off in the service. The United States military will use you for every little drop that they can. So you make sure that you get every little benefit that you can when you leave, even if that's giving you a leg up on getting a position. Okay. Enough on that. But yes, I found my job on Indeed. I know a lot of people complain about Indeed and they make fun of it, and they're like, oh my gosh, you can never get a good position. And I've found several different good positions, freelance positions, just different things on Indeed. I feel like it's all in the way your resume translate. I had a lot of keywords in my resume that they were looking for this position: real estate, finance, loan servicing, because I had a position where I was a loan servicer, communicating with underwriting departments. I just had a lot of things that they were looking for, although I had no appraisal experience, and they were looking for a trainee. So to back up a little bit, companies are now just starting to get into this whole idea of having an appraiser trainee. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, these positions may seem kind of rare, or you may find yourself having to convince somebody that having a trainee is a good idea. Okay. Because usually they want an appraiser with like 5 to 10 years of experience already under their belt. And how do you get experience if you can't find anybody to supervise you, if you can't find, you haven't worked in that field? It's difficult. Like I said, that's the reason why the average age of an appraiser is 55 years old. So with that being said, I want you to know, while it may seem rare, it's not impossible. I'm not gonna disclose what company I work for, and you guys, please don't hold this against me. This is not because I'm like, oh my gosh, thinking that somebody's gonna be able to come for my position, or, you know, like, it's not a competition thing. I don't have a problem with sharing that information with you all. If you want to email me or contact me privately, I have no problem with that. It's just that I'm not making these videos to represent my company. You know what I mean? So if I say something that they don't agree with, you know, I'm trying to cover myself, because I do enjoy my job. I do enjoy my position. So I'm making these videos to help you guys. So that's the only reason why I'm not, oh, I work for this company, I work for, I'm not promoting, because I'm not here to promote them. I'm just here to help you guys succeed in the appraisal world. So again, I work for a bank, a corporate bank, a big bank. It's only a few big U.S. banks, so there you go. You've already narrowed it down as much as possible. So this bank specifically was looking to do an appraisal trainee program, and I think they've done a few cycles of this, and I think they're continuing to do this. So one, I would suggest that you guys go ahead and start. Just Google appraisal trainee, you know what I mean? And then maybe Google it in your states. Maybe go to some of the big banks, their job board, and search appraisal trainee, and kind of filter through and see, they may have some, but maybe they're looking for a trainee, and maybe it's not in the state that you currently live in. But if you're willing to relocate, that's a possibility. You know what I mean? I've seen that done before as well. So again, banks, I know, and this is just from what I know, a lot of the banks have a trainee program set up. As far as the other freelance appraisal companies, I don't know so much. Now, I do want you to understand this. Just because if you end up going around and you don't work for a bank, you may still end up doing bank appraisals. Okay. So I am a staff appraiser for a bank. I live in Houston. So there's another appraiser that lives here in Houston. There's two in Dallas, and then there's one in Austin, I think, for our company. And we will, sometimes if on a need by need basis, we will travel if needed to some of the other areas. However, outside of that, the bank hires fee appraisers to do work as well. So just because you don't work for the bank does not mean that you won't be doing business for the bank. So essentially you will. So that's probably going to be most of your business, because it's very rare that like a homeowner is just wanting an appraisal. If you're not looking to refinance or to purchase a property, you may not want to come out of pocket for the amount that an appraisal is going to cost. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so like I said, I found the job on Indeed. I applied. It was a very long application process, and I can honestly just say God worked everything out for me to get the job, because I think they had at least, by the time they started traveling to do face-to-face interviews, they had I want to say 5 applicants here in Houston, and I end up getting chosen, and I didn't even do a face-to-face interview, you guys. I had to do a Skype interview, and that was because the job I had got bumped up to a management position, and I had to go off to training. And I was honest, and I was just like, you know what? Hey, I really want this position. However, I gotta feed my family. So I'm currently in a position to be a manager with my current job. So I can't miss out on this training opportunity with the fact that I may not get this job. And my manager, honestly, I think that's the reason why I got the job, because he respected my honesty so much. In this field of work, you have to be an honest, ethical person with high moral standards, because I will say to you guys that I've spoken with a lot of realtors and people in real estate, investors, and prior to our last recession, they will tell you that one of the number one reasons for the recession, a lot of realtors believe it was the appraisers, because as an appraiser, you actually have a lot of control over the market and what it's doing and what it does. Now, while we shouldn't be controlling the market, we should just be evaluating the market and basically expressing that through our work and our valuations. There were a lot of appraisers doing very underhanded stuff, like working with realtors and like saying, hey, I need to get this to come this, I need this property to come in at this number so we can make this deal close. And that type of stuff is kind of what caused the previous recession, the overvaluation of a lot of properties. And then when it came down to it, and a lot of people lost their jobs during the recession, then they couldn't afford these properties. And then they went back and the real appraisal came in, and they weren't worth what the appraisers were saying that they were worth. So that's one of the reasons why it's such a long process with becoming an appraiser. So someone asked me, what steps did I go through? So basically, so I got hired by my company as a trainee. They went ahead and they go ahead and set you up with a supervisor. So you're being supervised by someone that works for the same company that you do, that work for the same bank as me. And they're basically showing me the ropes. I go on ride-alongs with them for a while. And then I start doing it myself so I can start accumulating these hours. So hours. We're going to talk about hours first. So hours. You're going to need... So when you look up your state's certification board, it's going to tell you how many hours you need to complete. And these are going to be documented hours as an appraiser trainee with your supervisor. So your supervisor is signing off on all of the work you do. So they're signing off saying that, they're accountable for the work that you've done. Any mistakes that you've made, come back on them. Any disputes with clients, customers comes back on them. So that's the reason why it can be kind of difficult to find a supervisor, because it's like, sometimes it's like, who wants to deal with that, So with working for a company, the company will provide them with an incentive to do that for you, to be there for you and then kind of guide you along the process. They're probably going to get paid a little extra or whatnot. So you have to keep that in mind if you're thinking about being a fee appraiser. And we'll kind of do like a kind of like what are the pros and cons to being a staff appraiser here in just a second. So they set me up. I did ride-alongs for so long until my supervisor knew I got the hang of it, and then I started doing it myself. And then I would just send her the paperwork in, and she'd sign off on it or let me know what corrections I needed to make. At the same time, I'm taking courses. Okay. Again, I don't want to get too detailed into the courses just because every state is different, you guys, and it continues to change. Let me tell you, I just looked up Texas qualifications, and when I went to apply to be an appraiser, it was like 2,000 hours for a licensed appraiser. Mind you, I went the route where I was a trainee, I was a licensed real estate appraiser, and then I took the next exam up to be a certified licensed real estate appraiser. And we went over that last time. That just means that you can appraise homes and properties over $1 million. So I went all those steps, and like to become a licensed real estate appraiser, you have to have 2,000 hours, okay, plus all of the coursework that goes along with that. Now it's 1,000 hours. So if you're in Texas and you need help as far as like if you have any questions about working with the board, because they can be a pain. Look, I'm gonna tell you, Texas is one of the worst states with working with their board and like getting all your hours counted in. It can be a headache. If you're in Texas and you have questions and you need help with that, please email me. I will give you all the information I have, give you any contacts that I have to kind of make that process a little smoother for you, because I definitely didn't have that. And then to go up the next level to be a certified real estate appraiser, you had to have 2,500 hours. Now it's 1,500. Like, they totally took out 1,000 hours. That's like 1,000 hours of work I did. Like, this process took me almost, I want to say, it was almost about 2 years, a little under 2 years, maybe like more towards like 18 months. Kind of, it took me that long to get done. Mind you, I was still in the military at the time, and so I had a leadership position, and we had Hurricane Harvey. I had to go on several leaves, so there was a lot of things that kind of got in my way, but it can be a lengthy process. I believe with the way they've shortened the process, you can do this in less than a year. So the good things, we're going to kind of go into pros and cons here. So pros here with being a staff appraiser and working for a company. 1, they set me up with a supervisor. 2, they paid for all of my courses, including this book. This got sent to me. I didn't have to pay for this. This isn't, like I said, this can be a really expensive book if you buy it brand new. And so I got that kind of one-on-one support somewhat, because we do work remotely, so we're not in the office. I can't just lean over and ask for help every 5 minutes, but I did at least have someone there. You're getting paid a salary, okay, which kind of provides you with a stable foundation. It's at the lower end when you're on the trainee end. When you start off as a trainee, it's at the lower end. However, it's still a salary. It's still income, Of course, they provide you with computers, all of the system, the whole system that you need as a staff appraiser. If you're working for a company, they're going to provide that for you. If they don't provide that for you, they're going to give you some type of bonus or incentive for that. So they're going to give you, they're going to give you something, a stipend or something to get everything you need to get your office set up and everything. So that's kind of, those are the pluses. Now, what I would say a con is 1, it's a little less flexibility. Okay. 2, you can't kind of filter through your workload. Okay. So when I say that, sometimes, like when I get appraisals, whatever appraisals I get sent to me, I have to complete them. Unless there's a scheduling conflict or some reason why I can't get them done, I have to get them done. You know what I mean? If it's not like, if there's no way like physically possible I can get them done, that's the only excuse. Like if I'm going on vacation or something, they're totally understandable about that. However, like if you're a staff appraiser, you probably could you have the opportunity to kind of look at some work and say, I don't know if I want to do that. I'll pass on that one. You know what I mean? So you just don't have much of an option when it comes to your workload. And where that becomes important is, I explained to you guys, look, I've appraised homes from $20,000 to $8 million. What do you guys think those $20,000 houses look like? What type of neighborhoods do you think they're in? And I got to go in there by myself, you know what I mean, and check this place out. Sometimes I'll bring people with me, but still, I'm just depending on the situation. If it's something that you're not comfortable with, of course, and my company is really good about, if you call them and it is really a dangerous situation, like I will say the other day, I had to go to a house that was like out in the middle of kind of like the woods, and it was so bad, you guys. Like the ceiling, the ceiling, the roof like had a hole in it. Like, I mean, like you look at the roof, like you look up, you just see straight outside. Like it was bad. There was obviously had been squatters in there. There was like drug paraphernalia like all over the floors. It was bad. Okay. So, but I stepped in the door. I took my pictures from the door. The floor was very, there had been so much water damage that the floor was like very moist and it just did not feel stable at all. So I did call my company and say, hey, you know, this is just not a safe condition for me. I'll send you guys the pictures as is, but you know, this is probably going to be a tear down. You know, I let them know that, and it worked out, and that's fine. So I don't want you to think that a company is going to put you in a dangerous situation, but I just do want you to know that you just don't get that opportunity to kind of filter through your workload, and that could be important to some people. So again, backtracking, staff appraiser. So again, if looking for staff appraiser positions, like I said, I would go ahead and start looking for them no matter what process, what point you are in this process right now. If you've taken some courses, that's great, because they'll know you're serious about it. If you become a staff appraiser, I would say another con, I think, is, especially if they pay for your license, you're going to have to sign a contract with them to work for them for a certain amount of time. Okay. And that only makes sense. You got to think about it. They're putting a lot into you. You may look at the salary and say, oh, the salary is not that high, but like they're paying for all of your classes. I can't tell you guys how expensive these classes are. It just depends on which route you go, and it depends on your state too, which classes you need to take. So that's why I don't want to talk numbers too much. I am going to give you guys some suggestions on, where you can take classes. So like I said, the Appraisal Institute, I'll put their link down at the bottom. McKissick is another company that offers courses. That's the one that I have taken personally. And I've passed all of their courses. I really like their style, their format. Again, all of these are online. Someone else asked me that. So you can kind of do a Google search if you want to see if there are like local places in your area that teach the appraisal courses. That's great. The benefit of those is that they may be a little cheaper. Okay. Whether it's face-to-face or online, I don't know. Now, to backtrack on that, you need to make sure that your state is going to take those courses, because some people are out here teaching things that the state hasn't approved of. So you got to make sure that it's going to count towards your license, because you don't want to waste money. So, but these I know. So McKissick, I'm going to put them down below. I was trying to get y'all a coupon code for McKissick, and if I don't get it by the time I upload this video, I will, if I find one, I'll put it on the next video. But if you are interested in a McKissick course, email me, because they sent me this thing saying, hey, refer some friends and then they can get 15% off. But it was like I had to put you guys' email in, but they didn't send me anything with a coupon code, and I tried to call and nobody would give me any information. So blah. Okay, so now when we get to taking the exams, so a lot of these courses that you're going to have to take are going to have proctored exams at the end. Now, the neat thing is a lot of companies, I think including McKissick, are doing to where you can actually do an online proctor exam. Like they have people that they've hired to kind of like, you do like a Zoom and they're just like kind of sitting there watching you take your exam. Like it's neat, you know, you can do that. But a lot of them, you have to go to like the different testing sites to take the exam, like the licensing exam for sure. Both of the licensing exams, so the licensing exam and the certification exam, you're going to have to go to like one of the Pearson's testing sites and like sit there and take it. Now these are serious exams, you guys. Like the pressure is really on during these exams. It's like taking the SAT, honestly, or I've heard people say like it's like taking the LSAT or something. Like it's that serious. So CompuCram, I am going to put, now they did have a coupon code. I'm going to put it below. That is a site that has the test prep. Now there's a lot of other sites that offer test prep. I think like Kaplan offers classes and test prep on the appraisal exam for certain states. I don't really like Kaplan. Not saying I don't like them. It's just I've taken some courses with them before. I don't like their format of teaching, or test prep. I don't really like it. So CompuCram is completely online, you guys. When I tell you that site is what helped me pass both of my exams. It's just, they have flashcards, they have questions, they have like a huge test bank, they have all of the math questions that you can expect, they have the definitions, all of it. It's really, really good, you guys. That is like the most worth it test prep course I've ever taken. So I would definitely recommend them. I'm going to put them below with their coupon code. Hey, if any of you are at that stage where you're about to take the exam, because the exams are pretty much the same, you know, they're using a test bank, and you need help as far as like what to study for and stuff, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Email me. I will give you all the information that I know as far as what to study for. And I may do a video on that too, once we kind of get down the road with this, and I kind of see what questions you guys have, because that's the big part. Those exams are like very serious. I will tell you, my certification exam I took twice. I failed the first time. Now, it was a lot going on in my life that first time I took the certification exam. I was 8 months pregnant. That's a long exam, y'all. It's like, I think it's like a 4-hour exam with like an hour break in the middle of the 2 hours. Like, it's a long exam, you guys. I had just like a lot of life stressful, everything that deaths in the family, like everything that could go wrong was going wrong while I was taking that exam. It was just really stressful. So I failed the exam by like one question, you guys. Heartbreaking, because it was like, I think you need like a 75 to pass, and I think I got like a 73 or a 72. Oh my gosh. The only time they tell you your score is when you fail. So if you pass, you won't know what you made. You'll just know that you passed, and that's just it. But I didn't wait. I waited like 1 week. I went, I think, no, not 1 week. There's a certain amount of days. Like, I think it's like 15, 16 days you got to wait to take the exam again. Soon as I was eligible to retake it, I went back and retake it and passed it. Okay. So I'm just saying that to say, you guys, I have no doubt in my mind that you can pass this test on the first try, you know. So if you have any questions when you get to that point of taking the exams, let me know. Now, I would suggest, you don't have to, like I said, the way I went through, I took the licensing exam and then took the certification exam. In all states, you don't have to do that. You really, some states you can just go straight through to the certification. Now, I do know that the certification is a little bit more, I think the qualifications for that are like more strict. So I think, like, I was just looking at Texas's, and it used to be both license and certification you needed a bachelor's degree. It's not like that anymore. So I think you only need a bachelor's degree once you want to get certified, and you can certify with an associate's degree if you've taken a certain amount of course load. If you can take some university courses, I think in like finance and economics and stuff like that. So just like I said, look at your state's information. I don't know everything state by state. However, like I said, you guys, if you pull up your state's information and you have any questions about anything, I can usually figure it out. So like I said, don't hesitate to email me. Let me know what's up. We'll try to figure this out together. I'll reach out to some people that I know. I know appraisers in different states, so we'll figure it out. You know, like I said, I'm just here to help. So that's the staff appraiser route, and I hope I answered all of the questions. Okay. Any other questions you guys have, please comment below. Now we're gonna kind of switch gears and talk about being a fee appraiser. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know a lot about being a fee appraiser, and that's why it took me so long to make this video. I had to contact some people because I don't know how it goes. So basically, if you're going to be a fee appraiser, you're going to need to get with a supervisor ASAP, because you're going to need to find one on your own. So I would suggest, from what I'm hearing, is use your resources as far as like LinkedIn. Look for appraisers and see if they're looking for, if they're wanting to be a supervisor. Now, to apply to be a supervisor, you have to do that through the state. Okay, it's almost like when you're a realtor and you're signing up under a broker. Like, to be a supervisor, you're gonna have to take a course. There's just like a small little course. I know, at least for the state of Texas, I know there's a small little course you have to take in order to be a supervisor, to qualify to be a supervisor. And then your trainee has to send their information in, and their license will be under your name. So you guys will have like a little certificate showing, okay, you're the supervisor's license number and then the trainee's license number. I'm only expressing this to tell you guys how serious this is, as far as, you know, someone's career. So I would just want you guys to understand this, so you know the importance of when you're seeking a supervisor. You know that you want to find someone who, you know, is ethical, who is, you know, who is wanting to be in this role and wanting to help you out. And again, I can't stress the importance of that enough. Okay, because it can be difficult. I've heard that, I know a few people that were trying to be an appraiser, and then where they end up usually falling off is, one, the amount of coursework. It's a long process. Then two, the supervisor. Either them and their supervisor bumped heads, it didn't work out, things weren't getting done, you know. So just understand that it's a lot of work. So that's the reason why there's so limited amount of people that want to be a supervisor. I am not in a position where I can be a supervisor right now. And I'm telling you guys this because like I said, I currently work for a company. So all of the appraisals that I get are from that company. Okay. So like there's, you know, pertinent information like people's loan numbers and like different things, information about people that I cannot share for someone who doesn't also work for that same company. Okay. So that's the reason why, as a staff member, I'm not able to be a supervisor unless the bank I work for hires someone and then comes to me and asks me, you know, would I like to be a supervisor? And that's the only way I would be able to fulfill that role. So I'm sorry. I know I get a lot of questions and comments and emails about, can I supervise? At this time, no. I'm hoping to, in the future, be able to do so, because like I said, I want to do my part in paying it forward and helping someone else. So hopefully I will have that opportunity. But like I said, for now, I would suggest utilizing LinkedIn, utilizing Facebook, sending your resume out to supervisors, to appraisers, and just kind of saying, hey, having a sit down, like a meet and greet, like, hey, can we grab a cup of coffee? I would like to talk to you, if you know what I mean. Another good way is to contact some realtor friends. You know, we all know realtors. A lot of realtors know appraisers. So if you can get with a realtor, and at least you have like a relationship with that realtor to where they can vouch for you and say, hey, I have a friend that's wanting to be an appraiser trainee. Are you accepting any trainees? Are you willing to train anyone? Again, now I also kind of want you to understand the benefit of a supervisor role, because it really should work out as like as beneficial to both of you. Because the thing is that if your supervisor can trust you with a certain like amount of workload, it should be able to increase their workload. Now, like I said, they do have to have that additional time to look at your work and skim through it and make sure that everything's correct. Okay. So that does take time. However, with the increase of like you providing work, additional work, and you know, they're doing their own work and you providing additional work that they just kind of have to look over and sign off on, it should help them, you know, increase clients. So they should be able to increase their files, right? So they should be able to get paid more. Now, I don't know how that relationship works as far as if you're if you would get paid anything and how, what agreement you will have. You would really have to work that out with your supervisor. Okay. And then from there, once you have the hours and your license, then you can, apply however you want to, be a staff appraiser, freelance on your own. You can do that, but there is an application process, at least in the state of Texas, I know, and for most states, to set up your own appraisal firm. Okay. So again, so now we're kind of going to go over like the pros and cons of being a fee appraiser. So once you become a fee appraiser, what I'm being told is there are a lot of rosters that you can kind of get set up on. So there are companies basically that have like a roster of appraisers, and they have clients, which are usually big banks and small banks and medium-sized banks, whatever, different law firms, and they'll request appraisers, and then they'll kind of do like, okay, in this area with these credentials, and all you have to do is basically get your name on those lists, and then you'll be qualified. They'll basically send appraisals to you, and you can kind of, like I said, pick and choose which ones you want to take. That's what I'm being told. That's how it works as a fee appraiser. So you can be on, I'm told you can be on several different rosters, and just basically as you get work sent to you, I believe it costs to be on some of these rosters. It'll cost you, whether they take a fee out of just the entire amount of what the appraisal fee is, whether that company takes a fee out, or whether you pay them like a monthly subscription fee to get appraisal. That's why I'm being told that's how it works. So it is kind of like a hustle, because you're kind of getting work as you're kind of looking for work. Okay, but you still get to decide what you want to take and what you don't want to take. So again, flexibility, basically working for yourself, being able to make your own schedule and name your own fee. Okay, because like I said, I work for a bank, but sometimes I think they'll get me mixed up with a fee appraiser, and they'll send me like, oh, can you put your bid in for this appraisal? What can you let us know what your fees are? And I'm like, hey, I work for you guys. And they're like, oh, sorry, my bad. So I thought that was neat, because I'm like, dang, fee appraisers, they really just get to name their price of what they're gonna, I'm pretty sure there's like a market average or somewhere you may need to stay in, but it just depends, because you got to think about it. If you're doing larger properties, $1 million homes, it may take you more time. It may take you, so you have to value that time. So, hey, you have that opportunity to do that. Me as a staff appraiser, I get paid my salary regardless. So I forgot to say that about my appraisal role as a staff appraiser. So they have broken our salary down into an hourly pay, which is good, because I think they went through like one of those class action lawsuits because sometimes it gets really busy. Okay, really busy to the point where you are working well over 40 hours a week. And it's rare. And I would say it's usually in the summertime around July. That's when I'm the busiest. The summertime and then January. Those are the 2 times I think where I'm the busiest throughout the year. And I'll be working a lot, but that helps, because guess what? I can get overtime pay for that. So I appreciate that too. So I don't want you to think being a staff appraiser, you're only going to be stuck being paid, X amount of dollars, and then that's it. However, like I said, we're on fee appraiser now. So the fee appraisers get to name their price. So that's a benefit in that. So I would still say, as far as the cons, it's going to be, you won't have that insurance plan, you will have to set up your own 401k, and as far as having that stable income, it'll kind of be, it's going to kind of depend. And then, of course, trying to find a supervisor and people to work with and people to ask questions, and not having that network. I don't want to make it sound like being a fee appraiser is all bad, because it could work out great for you. You could be a fee appraiser part-time. You could have a completely different career. You could be a real estate investor or a contractor, or I think somebody said that we're getting their inspector's license. You can be an inspector and then do appraisals on the side, you know, at your own leisure. There's still a lot of benefit in it, you guys. So I don't want you to feel like one is better than the other. It's just which one works out for you better, which one works out for your lifestyle and your family better. Okay, so I did not want to be talking to y'all for an hour. I feel like I have a short attention span, so I don't think anybody can just sit up here and listen to me talk for for an hour. So I'm sorry, but I did kind of want to give you guys an update as to like what's going on right now, real time in appraisal world. So it's been slow, you guys. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been getting a lot of work, and I know we still got all of this COVID-19 stuff going on, but it's hard for me to say that like, man, it's slowing down and like get nervous or anything, because it's always slow this time of year for me. Honestly, if I look at my numbers consistently throughout the past 5 years, this is the time when appraisals slow up for me. So it's weird. It's like I'm sitting here and I'm like, I know it has a little bit to do with the market and everything that's going on, but at the same time, is this just going to be like my normal slow time? So I won't start to get nervous until we get around end of June, beginning of July. And like, if I still don't have work then, you guys, then that's when I'm going to be like, oh my gosh. But I'm pretty sure something's going to happen. You know, I hope I answered enough questions as far as how to get in, how to get your foot in the door, what you need to do. Again, right away, go ahead and look up your state's certification board, get those qualifications out. If it's anything you don't understand, hit me up, okay? Go ahead and get this, the Appraisal of Real Estate book from the Appraisal Institute. Go ahead and get that and start reading on that. You're going to use, I'm still using this now. You're going to continue to use this, okay? Go ahead and start looking up the courses. Just start you a little cart and just see how much they are. Start adding them up, especially if you're looking to be a fee appraiser and you're about to start looking for a supervisor. I would go ahead and suggest that you start taking courses now, okay? Because if you start taking courses now, first of all, like I said, in most states, you have to have so many courses done before you can become a trainee. Okay, there's a certain amount of course load that you need to have completed before you can be considered a real estate appraiser trainee. So if you come to a supervisor showing them, hey, I already have all of this completed, I just need you to sign off and be my supervisor, they know that you're serious. In my last video, I mentioned being a self-starter is very important in this career field, because it's very important, you guys. So if you can show them that, they're more apt to take you serious. So, and like I said, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. If I said something that was confusing today, because I feel like I was all over the place, let me know. Hit me up. We'll talk about it. Again, like I said, I'm only doing this to help you guys out, and I appreciate y'all so much for liking and watching these videos and commenting and giving me feedback. I appreciate it. You guys stay at home, stay safe, be blessed. Thanks.